Out here in the shop today working on this old C10. Got some new wheels for it, just mocked up on there right now. What we're doing right now is changing the front spindles. Originally this truck had a 2-4 drop or something like that with springs. So it's got a 4-inch drop spring in the back and a 2-inch spring in the front. And the front end is just not low enough. When it's on the ground, the front end's about 2 inches higher than the back. So we're going to pull those springs out, put the stock springs in it with the 3-inch drop spindles and see what that looks like. And then if we need to trim the stock springs, we will, but we just want it to sit level or slightly raked towards the front. So we'll get these wheels off, get the shocks off, and see if we can get the spring out without hitting ourselves in the face with it. Got the shock up out of the way. Once I let it down, I'll get to the nut on the back side here to get it off. I just got to knock the tie rod loose, lower ball joint, upper ball joint, and then I'll take the brake caliper off and set it aside, and then we can get to the spindle. We'll get it off and get the new one out of the box, and hopefully it'll bolt right on. Okay, I've got the tie rod off. It's up there now. Got the nut loose for the lower ball joint, just sitting there just in case it decides to pop loose. I won't be surprised by it. The cotter pin for the upper ball joint looks like it's been in there for a few years and it's rusted in there real good, so I'm still trying to get it out, and then we will try to figure out how to get this loose without the spring jumping out. Got the ball joints all busted loose. That one's loose, top one's loose. This is for entertainment purposes only. I had to use the cherry picker to take some weight to pull up on the spindle to try to help break this bottom one loose and to hold the whole assembly so that it doesn't shoot out at me. So now that I have it controlled with the cherry picker, I'm gonna pick it up and try to get this one off first and let the spring down slowly, and we'll see what happens. Got the old spindle off, left the brake rotor on it because that's going to have to come off and get cleaned up because it looks really crummy. We'll probably clean it up and paint it because with the new wheels you'll be able to see it a lot more. Got this all apart, has not been pressure washed yet for some reason. Not my part of the job, but we're going to go ahead and get the new spindle, which is right here. It's just a 3-inch drop, I believe. So hopefully it should just kind of bolt right in and we'll be able to get this thing a little closer to being not squatted. Got the spindle put back on, had to do it the old way. I left the truck down and used to use a floor jack. Cherry picker was picking the whole truck up and I didn't like doing that with it that high in the air. So we got the ball joints tightened up. You can see in there, it's got to get the cotter pins in. Tie rod's back on. Brake caliper, I just set it on here to keep it out of the way while the spring was going in. So now I've got to get this one, get the rotor off of the spindle, probably clean it up while it's off there. I'm not sure if we're going to put new rotors on it, but I'll go ahead and clean this one up and paint it so it doesn't have to be done later on. Okay, we didn't paint any of that because I think we're going to get a new rotor and we'll paint that whenever it comes in instead of having this old crusty thing on here. I did paint the backing plate and got the bearings back on so this side can at least roll. Now all we got to do is pull the bolt out of the top of the shock from the inside and put the new shocks on it. Got this side all buttoned up, put the old wheel back on it because we're going to be pressure washing, or somebody's gonna be pressure washing this thing and didn't want to get the new wheels all dirty. So now that this side's done, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the other side. I might try to set this camera up to do a time lapse so you can see everything, and then we'll be ready to put it on the ground and see how it looks. Okay, as you saw in that time lapse, we got the new spindle put on, springs in there. Now just a reverse of what we just did, and we'll have this thing on the ground. But we'll probably, whenever we get the new stuff, we'll get new bearings or repack the old ones and stuff, so I'm not going to worry about any of that. I'm just trying to get it back on the ground so that I can get this thing out of here, because I have another project I need to pull in. So we're going to get this rotor off. I'll go ahead and paint the backing plate while I got it off, and then we'll get this back on here, put the brakes back on it, and set it back on the ground. Got it back down on the ground. It's still sitting just a touch high in the front. I think I was going to roll it forward so the wheels could kind of settle, but apparently if you put these on here, the lower control arm actually hits the wheel on a 15, so it's not going to roll anywhere because it's in neutral right now and I can't move it. So if we want to roll it outside to pressure wash it, we are going to have to put the new wheels on it, because yeah, I can't move it right now. But it is all back together. Everything's all tight, ready to go. All it needs is some new needs the wheel bearings packed, and that'll probably do it for this video. So let us know in the comments below what you think, and yeah, so like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Thanks.